Hello again. I'm going to do a demo of the acoustic sim that I came up with and the one for the string emulator. I'm going to do the acoustic one first. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm not using the reverb. It's the same patch that I posted. I'm not using the reverb from the pedal. I'm using the reverb from my FX2000, which is just 1,000 times better. I've got sort of a medium hall set on it right now. It's just beautiful. Let me turn it down just a little bit so you can hear the patch a little more. That reverb's just so much better. I can choose the size of hall and the shape and, put my reflections in when I want them, the pre-delay and all that. I can get it all dialed in really, really sweet. But here's the basic patch. This is with no reverb. I think I have the EQ on. Let me double check my patch. I have the EQ and I have delay on right now. The harmonist is turned off. The detune is turned off right now. But I've got the delay on. That's without the harmonist. Now we'll turn the harmonist on, and we get sort of a wider sound. It gives a much broader sound to it. It's got more. It just appeals to me more with the detune. Now, what strikes most, I'm going to leave the harmonist on because I really like that. What strikes me most about the sound of an acoustic, and the one thing that I've always had to do every time I plug my acoustic into whether it's an amp or the pedal or whatever, I always have to pull the bass down because the piezo pickup just is. There's so much boominess in a real acoustic, and so I sort of simulated that with the EQ, that boom, that big low end. You can hear that low end really well. Using my Strat, I've got it set right now to the middle pickup, which is kind of a little bit of a bigger sound. I can mellow it. I can pull the edge off of it just by switching to the neck and middle, and you get a little bit of a smoother. You hear those highs a little bit better. Now, this is with the delay. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of my reverb because I can't live without reverb. That reverb is so sweet. So much nicer. All right, here's a little bit of just some acoustic style stuff to give you an idea of what the patch sounds like. This is with my reverb on, with the delay, and with the harmonist, the detune. Sort of fingerstyle acoustic stuff. That was actually written on acoustic. This one was written on acoustic too, and this one I think sounds really, really well. It sounds really good with the acoustic sim. It does not sound like an acoustic guitar. This pedal is not going to do that for you. That's not what it's really made for. It's a simulator, and it's supposed to simulate the basic um, timbre of an acoustic guitar, and it comes about halfway there. It's about halfway there. Depends on the guitar you use. Depends on the other effects that you choose. But I'll post the patch in the comments for when this video is done. So here's another little piece that actually sounds really, really good with this acoustic sim. I was kind of surprised by this, to be honest. That sounds really nice. Now for and for fingerpick stuff, it's pretty good. But then when I want to do a little bit of strumming, if you and again, you're going to get the boom. You're kind of missing the boominess of an acoustic guitar. An acoustic guitar, I like to say that my acoustic guitar, she's got a big ass. She's got a lot of bottom on her, right? Sounds pretty good strum too. And that's just switching to the neck pickup right there, just the neck pickup by itself. We'll go back to the middle. Hear those highs kind of come up a little bit. Sounds a little bit more like an electric than this does. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It, for my money, it works better with the finger pick stuff than it does with the strumming. It's okay, the strumming stuff. For my money, though, for what I like to do, um, and I do a lot of fingerstyle stuff. I just love doing it. So let me crank a little bit more reverb here and let you listen to what this sounds like. This is pretty outstanding. I really like this. And let's go back to. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for fingerstyle stuff. For strumming, it'll work okay. You may wanna EQ it pre-pedal. I've got another EQ over on my mixer. I've got individual, high, middle, and low on my mixer. So if I really want to dial in a really tight acoustic sound, I can set the pedal up the way I want it, the way that the patch is. And even with the EQ turned on, and it is right now, even with the EQ turned on, I still don't really have a good balance. So it's okay. I could probably improve it if I were to just turn on some of the lows. I'm trying to get this mic situated right, and it just doesn't seem to want to do it. There we go. That's a little better. There we go. Okay. I could dial in a little bit of a tighter bass sound, add some more low end to it to get the overall acoustic feel, the boominess of an acoustic. I could do that with the EQ on my mixer, and it would probably work better because um, it's pre-pedal. You're hearing it post, but it's, it technically is coming before the pedal. So, but it's not a bad sound. It doesn't suck, but it's not an acoustic. There's not really there's not a lot that you can do about that. You know what I mean? It's not going short of a guitar synth. You are not going to simulate an acoustic on anything. All it does is just add it's another layer of EQ. That's really all it is. An acoustic simulator is just another layer of EQ. That's all it is. But it's an EQ that is set for, what an acoustic would sound like with nothing on it. So, all right, now we're going to take a look at the string emulator that I have. Now you're going to find that you can do a lot of different things, but they're all slow attacks. Okay, this particular string sound is all slow. They're all slow attacks. I cannot, um, it's very hard. Again, I'm emulating, not simulating. I'm emulating. I'm doing a close approximation of what strings would sound like, and you can choose which instrument you want to use, like string, viola, cello, or bass. You can choose that by changing specific pickups. You use your bridge pickup would be your violins. Your middle pickup, if you've got three, your middle pickup would be your viola and the top of your cello, and the neck pickup would wind up being the bottom of the viola and the bass. Okay, so this is just with the I'm going to use my bridge pickup, so we're going to emulate the violins themselves. All right, so and there are a couple of different ways to do this. If you use a pick, use a very gentle attack. If you want a slow rise, use a very gentle attack. You can also just use your fingers. I'm going to do both. Here's with the pick. That was with a pick. Now we'll do it with the fingers. You'll see it's a slightly different sound. The rise, the attack slows down a lot, and if you use a very gentle pick, you'll get more of a lifelike violin sound. I find that I've got a little bit more dynamic control with my fingers than I do with a pick. The substance of the pick isn't going to change. I can choose a different part of my finger, though, to pick the string to get a different attack, right? That's with my thumb. That's the fleshier finger, right? There's a lot of fat on there. There's a lot of meat on your thumb. Now, if I use my first finger, my forefinger, there's not nearly as much meat, so it's going to be a little bit more of a sharper attack. That sounds like a violin. Sounds like a violin. It's pretty close. Now, if I pick a different pickup, right, and I play lower strings, I play lower register, then I'm going to get more bass sounds to it. It's going to sound more like the low end of a cello or a bass itself. cello itself is not just a lower register instrument. It has a different timbre, a different sound. It's got more lows and mids, and the violin has got more highs, right? So if I want highs, I'm going to go to my bridge pickup. If I want lows, I'm going to go to my neck pickup. If I want something in between, I'll just use the middle pickup, or I'll blend. I'll use a combination of the two of them together. You know what I mean? To get the different um, tonal characteristics of each string instrument. The piece that I'm trying to do right now has got violin, viola, cello, and bass. Now, that's only 4 instruments, but each part is playing 3 different parts, right? There are 3 violin parts, actually 2 viola parts, 2 cello parts, and 1 bass part. So, I mean, so I've got like 3, 2, 2, and 1. So it's a little bit, it's a little tougher. That's 8 different instruments I'm trying to cover. So again, fingers or you can either use your fingers or use a pick. I prefer fingers because it gives me more flexibility for attack, right? I can change which finger or I can change which part of my finger I'm using to get a different, attack. I can speed the attack up by using a pick, and I don't necessarily want to speed the attack up, not necessarily, but I can speed it up by adding a little bit of pressure with my finger. I've got much more control with my fingers than I do with the pick. The substance of the pick doesn't change. Pick is always going to be what it is. Your finger, on the other hand, you can use different parts of it to get a sharper or a leaner, a smoother attack to it. So here's a violin. That works for me. I did a pass, a song that I'm working on. I already did a pass using just straight a straight guitar tone, no slow gear, just straight. And I put all the parts together. I put the 2 violin parts and the viola and the cello and the bass. I put it all together and realized, it's just not really working. It doesn't work that way. To do sort of a neoclassical thing, I want to see if I can emulate the actual stringed instruments themselves to recreate this piece just for guitar. So I'm going to wind up having 2, 2, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to have 7 actually. Well, 6 guitar parts and a bass part. I'm going to have 6 guitars and a bass. So it's going to wind up being, if I can ever get it finished, it's taken forever to do. It's not a hard piece to play. It's just that every note has to be perfect. And if I don't get every note perfect, I just go back and do it again until I get it perfect. So, and again, I'm switching back and forth. I'm trying to figure out whether fingertips or pick is going to be better for certain sections. Some sections, this piece in particular, starts out very soft, and then the next section is a little bit louder, and the next section is a little bit louder than that. Then it goes back down again, and it does that again. It repeats that. So it's a little bit more difficult to get a handle on because of the dynamic changes I'm having to deal with. So, but there's your acoustic sim and your string emulator. If you mess around with the string emulators, try both your pick and your fingers, and you will find that I think personally for me, there's a much better response with my hands than with the pick. The pick tends to be a little too overpowering, and I can't pick it gently enough for some reason. You know what I mean? I have a very specific picking style, and I can't seem to pick it gently enough to make it work. See? Totally different. That's with the pick. Now this is with my finger. You hear that rise? And you hear that reverb in the background. I just love this reverb. You guys, honestly, if you're as unhappy with the reverb sounds in the ME80 as I am, you really ought to look into a Behringer Virtualizer 3D. It's also called an FX2000. It's got everything. It's got choruses. It's got reverbs and delays and harmonizer. It's got pitch shift. It's got phaser. It's got flanger. You name it. It's got everything. Everything I want is right there in that little box. I bought it primarily for the reverbs. I wanted some next level reverbs. I was kind of tired of the crap that I was getting with processors and with my mixer. My mixer has reverb too, but it's awful. It's terrible. So I don't mess with it. I don't even bother with it. I don't really see the point. All right, there we go. That's it. That's cool. Y'all have a good day. I hope you enjoyed it.